What if I told you that Ford just dropped a bombshell so massive, it has the potential to flip the entire car market upside down overnight? For years, Ford has been playing the game safe, holding its cards close while competitors made bold moves in electrification, pricing, and global expansion. But now, out of nowhere, Ford has revealed a shocking announcement that could completely rewrite the rules of the automotive industry. We're talking about a move that challenges everything from Tesla's dominance in EVs, to Toyota's grip on hybrids, to even GM's long-term strategy. And here's the kicker, this isn't just a minor update or another future concept that may or may not hit production. This is real. It's happening now. For months, whispers were circulating in Detroit and across Wall Street that Ford was planning something dramatic to respond to slumping sales and the growing EV price war. But insiders say this new strategy isn't just a response, it's an attack, a direct shot at rivals who thought they had the upper hand. Ford isn't waiting around anymore. It's moving aggressively, with a plan that's as shocking in its scope as it is in its timing. Because when you break down what Ford has just unveiled, it's clear they're no longer interested in simply keeping up with the market, they want to lead it. The announcement has already sent shockwaves through dealerships, suppliers, and even government regulators who now realize that Ford may be about to disrupt the market in ways nobody predicted. Imagine slashing vehicle costs at a scale that forces every other automaker to rethink their pricing. Imagine rolling out technology that not only rivals Tesla's, but potentially leapfrogs it. And imagine doing all of this at a moment when the auto industry is already walking a tightrope between profits and collapse. That's why this move feels so dangerous and so brilliant at the same time. But here's where it gets even more jaw-dropping. Ford isn't just unveiling new vehicles, it's rethinking the very way cars are built, sold, and even powered. This isn't just about electric versus gas. It's about reshaping the future of mobility itself. And if Ford pulls it off, it could create a domino effect that forces every other major automaker to follow or risk being left behind. So what exactly did Ford announce that has the entire car industry in panic mode? And why are analysts saying this could be the boldest move Ford has made since the Model T? Before we peel back the layers of Ford's shocking announcement, it's critical to understand the storm that pushed them into this position. Because let's be real, Ford didn't just wake up one morning and decide to shake the foundations of the car market. This move was born out of mounting pressure, intense competition, and a series of challenges that threatened to drag the company down if they didn't act fast. For starters, Ford has been grappling with one of the toughest financial squeezes in its modern history. Rising interest rates have made car loans painfully expensive, shrinking demand across the board. On top of that, the cost of raw materials, especially for batteries, has skyrocketed, making it almost impossible to sell EVs profitably. Dealers have been complaining about bloated inventories piling up on lots, while consumers are increasingly hesitant to commit to high monthly payments for vehicles they aren't sure will hold their value. Ford knew that if they didn't make a drastic move soon, they'd risk being buried under their own weight. Then there's the competition. Tesla has been slashing prices left and right, forcing rivals to either match the cuts or risk losing customers. Toyota, meanwhile, has doubled down on hybrids, a strategy that's paying off as many drivers hesitate to go fully electric. And Chinese automakers like BYD are quietly but aggressively eyeing the US market, ready to undercut everyone with cheaper, tech-packed cars. Ford found itself squeezed from every direction, too slow to dominate EVs, too expensive to beat budget-friendly rivals, and too vulnerable to Wall Street's skepticism. And let's not forget the blowback Ford faced from its own ambitious EV push. Models like the Mustang Mach-E and the F-150 Lightning launched with huge hype, but production delays, battery shortages, and steep prices quickly turned excitement into frustration. Demand cooled, and suddenly Ford was stuck with a lineup that looked futuristic on paper, but wasn't selling at the pace they needed. Investors started asking tough questions, and the pressure to prove Ford still had fight left in it became impossible to ignore. All of this built up to a breaking point. Ford had to do something radical, and that's exactly what led to the announcement we're about to dive into. Because what Ford just revealed isn't just a fix to these problems, it's a bold attempt to turn them into opportunities. The moment Ford's shocking news hit the wires, the auto industry practically froze. Analysts scrambled to update forecasts, rival executives called emergency meetings, and Wall Street traders lit up the ticker with frenzied activity. Ford stock, which had been sluggish for months, suddenly surged in after-hours trading as whispers spread that this move wasn't just bold, it could be a market reset. Dealerships across the country reported getting flooded with calls from curious customers asking, "Is this real? When can we get one?" It was like a tidal wave of attention crashing into the industry overnight. Competitors, however, weren't celebrating. Insiders at GM reportedly described the move as a direct threat, while Toyota's camp is said to be quietly reassessing their US strategy. Even Tesla, usually quick to mock legacy automakers, went unusually quiet, as if Elon Musk himself realized this could be the first real challenge to Tesla's dominance in years. Meanwhile, suppliers who've been bleeding from declining orders suddenly saw the possibility of massive new contracts, creating a ripple of cautious optimism in an otherwise struggling sector. The government wasn't silent either. Regulators, who've been pushing for accelerated EV adoption, immediately began questioning how Ford's new strategy would align with emissions goals, union labor demands, and global supply chain concerns. Could Ford's bold pivot disrupt not just the auto industry, but the political and economic balance surrounding it? That was the million-dollar question, reverberating from Detroit to Washington, D.C. And then there were the customers, the heartbeat of the market. Social media exploded with speculation. Was Ford about to unveil a $20,000 EV? Were they preparing to bring back a legendary nameplate with a twist? Or had they discovered a way to outpace Tesla in range and charging? Nobody knew for sure, but one thing was certain: Ford had the world's attention, and the anticipation was electric. Now the stage was perfectly set, with rivals nervous, customers buzzing, and the market on edge. Which brings us to the real question: what exactly did Ford reveal that caused this frenzy? After weeks of whispers, months of speculation, and years of mounting pressure, Ford finally dropped the hammer. The announcement wasn't just another new model or a flashy concept car meant to grab headlines for a few days. No, Ford revealed a sweeping plan that could rewrite the future of the company and maybe even the entire auto market. At the heart of it is a move so aggressive, it left analysts stunned. Ford is slashing production costs to launch a brand new line of vehicles, priced lower than anyone thought possible in today's market. We're talking starting prices that undercut not only Tesla, but even some of the cheapest imports. For years, automakers insisted it was impossible to deliver a truly affordable EV or hybrid at scale. Ford just shattered that myth, but it doesn't stop there. Alongside this, Ford unveiled a revolutionary new battery platform, one designed to dramatically extend range while cutting charging times nearly in half. This isn't a futuristic promise of someday. This technology is ready for rollout in upcoming models, and the kicker: these vehicles will be built right here in North America, signaling Ford's intent to secure jobs, stabilize supply chains, and reduce dependence on overseas production. For competitors, this was the nightmare scenario. Imagine spending years trying to corner the EV market, only to have Ford crash through the door with a lineup that's cheaper, faster, and homegrown. For customers, though, it was like Christmas morning: affordable EVs built in America with cutting-edge tech. That's the kind of announcement that doesn't just sell cars. It changes the way people think about what's possible. And while the announcement itself was jaw-dropping, the way Ford delivered it was even more telling. There was no gimmicky light show, no over-the-top theatrics. Instead, Ford's leadership stood confidently and laid out a vision that felt both bold and grounded, almost daring competitors to try and match them. But here's the twist: this wasn't just about cars. Ford hinted that the technology and strategy behind this move could extend far beyond the auto industry, potentially reshaping energy, infrastructure, and even the way communities are powered. That's when it became clear this wasn't just an announcement. This was a declaration of war on the old rules of mobility. Ford's announcement wasn't some minor update or a shiny prototype destined to collect dust. It was a full-blown market disruption. For the first time in decades, Ford declared it would introduce a brand new family of ultra-affordable EVs and hybrids with a starting price tag that drops below the $25,000 mark. That's not just aggressive, that's unheard of in today's market, where most electric vehicles are still out of reach for average families. Ford effectively told the world, "We're bringing EVs to the masses, and no one is going to stop us." But affordability was only one piece of the shock. The company unveiled a breakthrough in battery technology, what insiders are calling a game changer that could give Ford vehicles longer range, faster charging times, and dramatically lower production costs. Instead of waiting until the 2030s, Ford said this tech is ready to roll out in the next couple of years, with pilot models already in testing. And perhaps most disruptive of all, Ford confirmed these vehicles will be built in North America, sidestepping supply chain chaos and giving a direct boost to American manufacturing at a time when jobs and stability are front and center in the political spotlight. This wasn't just an announcement, it was a declaration of intent. Ford is no longer content to play catch-up to Tesla, Toyota, or the rising tide of Chinese automakers. This move was designed to slam the brakes on the competition and reclaim the narrative, and in one bold stroke, Ford positioned itself as not just a survivor in the EV revolution, but as a leader. And here's where the real drama unfolds. While customers cheered, Wall Street analysts scrambled, and rivals panicked, Ford quietly revealed that this was only the first wave of announcements. More models, more technology, and more disruptions are already in the pipeline, which begs the question if this was just the opening shot. What comes next could be even more earth-shattering. The centerpiece of Ford's announcement and the model that immediately grabbed global headlines was an all-new compact EV crossover, designed to be both affordable and practical. Ford revealed that this vehicle would start at just under $25,000, instantly making it one of the cheapest electric crossovers in the US market. And yet, despite the low price, Ford didn't strip it down to bare bones. The model comes packed with tech features typically reserved for higher-end EVs, a long-range battery capable of up to 350 miles on a single charge, ultra-fast charging that adds 200 miles in under 15 minutes, and a sleek, modern design. Ford also made sure to highlight one critical point: this wasn't just a budget EV. This was a vehicle built to feel premium while being accessible. Inside, buyers get a spacious cabin with a minimalist digital cockpit, advanced driver assist technology, and Ford's latest AI-powered infotainment system, which is designed to learn from a driver's habits and optimize everything from navigation to energy usage. In other words, this wasn't about cutting corners, it was about redefining what a starter EV could look like, and the timing couldn't be better. With Tesla's cheapest Model 3 still hovering above $30,000 even after price cuts, and Toyota focused mainly on hybrids rather than full EVs, Ford's compact EV crossover immediately positioned itself as the people's choice. Analysts were quick to point out that if Ford can actually deliver on this promise at scale, it could become the modern equivalent of the Ford Model T, a car that puts an entirely new technology within reach of the masses. But here's the kicker: this compact EV isn't coming alone. Ford revealed it's just the first of a broader lineup of affordable electrified vehicles, all built on the same cost-cutting battery platform. That means SUVs, trucks, and even performance EVs are already in the works, and Ford plans to roll them out faster than anyone expected. For Tesla, this was the nightmare scenario they've been trying to avoid for years. Elon Musk himself has admitted the biggest threat to Tesla's future isn't high-end luxury competition, it's an affordable EV that undercuts the Model 3 and Model Y. Ford's sub-$25,000 compact crossover does exactly that. It offers comparable range, faster charging, and a price tag that makes Tesla look out of touch with everyday consumers. And while Tesla has teased a Model 2 in the same price range, delays and production hurdles have kept it off the market. Ford just stole that spotlight, and if they deliver before Tesla can, they may siphon off the very buyers Musk has been counting on to drive for Toyota. The challenge is different, but just as dangerous. Toyota has leaned heavily on hybrids, betting that customers aren't quite ready for full EVs. That strategy has worked brilliantly until now. Ford's compact EV makes the hybrid compromise less attractive by offering a true electric solution at nearly the same price point. Why settle for a gas tank when you can get 350 miles of pure electric range for about the same monthly payment? Analysts are already warning that Toyota may be forced to accelerate its EV program, which could stretch resources thin and risk undermining its hybrid dominance. And then there's BYD, the Chinese powerhouse that's been aggressively expanding worldwide with affordable, tech-packed EVs. BYD's biggest advantage has always been price. They can make cars cheaper and faster than almost anyone else. But Ford building an affordable EV in North America changes the equation entirely. Suddenly, US buyers don't have to wait for Chinese imports. They can buy a homegrown option with competitive pricing and without the uncertainty of tariffs, politics, or supply chain headaches. In many ways, Ford just built a firewall against BYD's looming entry into the US market. Put simply, this single compact EV disrupts three different strategies at once: Tesla's price cut playbook, Toyota's hybrid bridge, and BYD's global expansion. It forces all three giants to rethink their next moves fast. And that's exactly why industry insiders are calling Ford's announcement not just bold, but potentially industry-shaking. Ford knows the truck segment isn't just a cornerstone of its identity, it's the crown jewel of the American auto market. Trucks are where the biggest profits live, where brand loyalty runs deepest, and where the EV revolution has struggled the most to gain traction. So when Ford unveiled its next-generation affordable electric pickup, it wasn't just introducing another model, it was firing a direct shot at Tesla's Cybertruck, GM's Silverado EV, and even its own F-150 Lightning. This new truck, smaller than the Lightning but larger than the Maverick, is designed to hit the sweet spot: rugged enough for work, efficient enough for daily driving, and most importantly affordable enough to bring first-time buyers into the truck segment. With a starting price in the low $30,000 range, Ford made it clear this wasn't just for wealthy early adopters, it was for farmers, tradespeople, and everyday families who need utility without breaking the bank. The specs were jaw-dropping. Over 300 miles of range on a single charge, towing capacity designed to rival mid-size gas trucks, and fast charging that adds 200 miles in under 20 minutes. And just like the compact EV, Ford packed it with tech and AI-driven energy management system, over-the-air updates, and even vehicle-to-grid capability, allowing owners to power their homes or job sites directly from the truck. In one stroke, Ford reframed the EV truck conversation from futuristic toy to essential tool, but perhaps the most shocking part wasn't the truck itself, it was Ford's production plan. Instead of limiting output like so many competitors, Ford announced massive investment into scaling production for this truck at a new US facility that sent a message loud and clear: this isn't a niche product. This is the future backbone of Ford's truck lineup. For Tesla, it undercuts the Cybertruck's eccentric appeal with something more practical. For GM and Stellantis, it threatens to steal market share from buyers who want electric capability, but can't justify luxury-level prices. And for Ford, it positions the company as the only automaker offering both an affordable EV crossover and an affordable EV truck, a one-to-punch that could redefine the playing field. The F-150 Lightning was once hailed as Ford's ultimate trump card, an all-electric version of America's best-selling vehicle. It grabbed headlines, racked up pre-orders, and proved that EVs could succeed in the most traditional, gas-dominated segment. But the reality since launch has been complicated. High prices, supply chain bottlenecks, and wavering consumer demand left the Lightning struggling to maintain the hype. For many buyers, the Lightning felt more like a luxury experiment than a true workhorse replacement. Now, with the new affordable EV truck entering the stage, the Lightning faces both opportunity and threat. On one hand, the smaller, cheaper truck could act as a gateway, drawing in customers who were hesitant about price but curious about going electric. Those buyers might eventually move up to the Lightning once they're ready for more power and capability. On the other hand, the new truck could cannibalize Lightning sales, making the flagship model feel overpriced and out of step with Ford's new affordability strategy. Dealers are already voicing concerns. Some see the affordable EV truck as a blessing that will finally bring customers back to showrooms. Others worrying it will overshadow the Lightning, leaving lots full of unsold high-priced models. And competitors are watching closely. If Ford pivots to hard toward affordability, GM and Tesla might try to position their trucks as the more premium alternative, flipping the script on Ford's current branding. But here's the deeper ripple effect: the new truck forces Ford to rethink what the Lightning means. Is it a halo product that showcases cutting-edge tech, or should it evolve into something more mainstream to compete head-on with Tesla and GM? Insiders hint that Ford may be planning a major refresh of the Lightning, new battery options, more aggressive pricing, and expanded trim levels to keep it relevant in this shifting landscape. Either way, the Lightning's role is changing. It's no longer the only electric truck in Ford's stable. Now it must coexist with a cheaper sibling that could end up defining the future of Ford trucks. And that dynamic could completely reshape how Ford positions its lineup against Tesla's Cybertruck, GM's Silverado EV, and Ram's upcoming Rev. The moment Ford showed it could deliver both an affordable compact EV truck and the F-150 Lightning, competitors were forced into reaction mode, scrambling to figure out how to respond. At Tesla, Insiders say the mood shifted instantly from confidence to urgency. The Cybertruck had been hyped for years as the ultimate disruptor, but its futuristic design, high prices, and production delays have left many buyers frustrated. Ford's affordable, practical EV truck made the Cybertruck look like more of a luxury toy than a workhorse. Almost immediately, whispers began circulating that Tesla might need to accelerate development of its long-rumored Model T platform to create a cheaper truck variant, something Musk has resisted for fear of stretching Tesla too thin. Still, Ford's announcement lit a fire under Tesla's team, forcing them to re-examine their entire pricing strategy. Over at GM, the response was even more frantic. The Silverado EV and GMC Sierra EV were designed as high-tech flagships with eye-watering price tags, but Ford's move made them look dangerously overpriced. GM executives reportedly held late-night strategy calls debating whether to slash prices, risk damaging their margins, or double down on marketing the Silverado EV as a premium product. The problem is, GM doesn't have an affordable EV truck in its pipeline, at least not one that's production-ready. That puts them in a vulnerable spot, forced to watch Ford eat into the very truck market that has been GM's bread and butter for decades. Ram, meanwhile, found itself caught mid-stride. The Ram 1500R EV is still months away from hitting showrooms, and while it boasts strong specs, its pricing isn't anywhere near Ford's new offering. Ram had planned to lean heavily on its reputation for toughness and performance, but Ford's announcement shifted the conversation entirely. Instead of asking which EV truck is strongest, customers are now asking which EV truck is most affordable. That's a battlefield Ford has already claimed. Ram may be forced to accelerate its rumored smaller EV pickup project, but that could take years' time Ford is already using to scale production. The truth is, Ford didn't just launch new trucks, it moved the goalposts. Tesla, GM, and Ram were all gearing up for a battle in the high-end EV truck space, and Ford just changed the game to affordability and practicality. None of them are truly